Hi, welcome back. This is John Kenneth Press, and we're talking about Matthew Arnold's poem, Mycerinus. And this poem, again, is about the pharaoh Mycerinus telling the Egyptian people that he's got 6 years left to live in. And he's pissed. His father and his father's father loved injustice and lived a long, long time. And as we read in the first part, Mycerinus had been really, really faithful to law and dutiful, doing his duty. And he's getting early death as a reward. He is pissed. Where's the justice in that? And so his response in this first part we'll look at today is to doubt the gods. He says, I thought I saw some hint of their existence, but I guess I was wrong. So again, this is Mycerinus speaking to his people. Yet surely, O my people, did I deem man's justice from the all-just gods was given, a light that from some upper fount did beam, some better archetype, whose seat was heaven, a light that, shining with the blessed abodes, did shadow somewhat the life of gods. And I really love this. There's so much imagery, right? Like about light. So a light from the upper fountain beam, and he thought maybe it came from heaven. It reflected some archetype, some order in the universe, and I liked it. It shadows somewhat the life of gods, right? So there's a hint of a shadow, not even a full shadow, but he thought there was a shadow that was sort of cast by some upper order, and it's not there. This is Mycerinus' dilemma. There are no gods. There's no justice, and what to do. And interestingly, Mycerinus' dilemma parallels Matthew Arnold's. Arnold's lifelong dilemma was that he saw the Christian identity of the West giving way under the rise of science. And he spent most of his adult life trying to create and promote a system of thought, an archetype of justice, if you will, to guide what he called modern society in the absence of Christianity. So Mycerinus is facing the same dilemma, right? There's no gods. What shall I do? And now we're going to move on to the second part. So I'm going to move the page down and read this. This one is, I'm not quite as positive as what each line means. So again, feel free to pause, get your own interpretation together, and then leave a comment what you think in the comment section below. So here goes. Mere phantoms of man's self-tormenting heart, which on the sweets that it woo dare not feed. And for this one, I see the gods are the phantoms of man's self-tormenting heart, right? They're good. Man's torments his heart. He's good because of the phantoms, right? On which sweets that woo it dares not feed. The sweets that woos is this sort of like reward in the afterlife. You dare not feed on that reward, especially not in their absence, right? Vain dreams in which quench our pleasures, then depart when the duped soul, self-mastered, claims its meed. When on the strenuous just man heaven bestows crowns of his struggling life and unjust close. So if you're actually good for the gods and for the afterlife, you're duped, and when you'll find out what heaven actually gives you at the end for all this good struggle and unjust close, right? An early death. So he's not so happy about this absence of the gods. And I love like the words here of self-tormenting, right, and self-mastered. This is really Arnold was somebody who really actually in his own private life, in some ways was austere, so that he didn't have women in his life, so that he could concentrate on his poetry, right? And he gave this stuff up for his mission. And but really, that's interesting in terms of this poem, but also self, right? Self is so big, and there is no God. There's nothing outside the self, which is really a very modern thing, right? Self-fulfillment, you, the individual. What do you want to be when you grow up? There is all these messages are about the self. And I guess that's what you should focus on. If you've only got 6 years to live and there are no gods, then, what's the point of being good? So he's going to move on to the next one. He's going to say, well, maybe then I should party, right? Which seems to be a common sort of modern reaction to what do we do in the absence of authority. And here, I'm going to read it. Speaking to his people, Mycerinus, the pharaoh, says, seems it so light a thing, then, austere powers, to spurn man's common lure, life's pleasant things? Seems there no joy in dances crowned with flowers, love free to range, and regal banquetings? Bend ye on these, indeed, an unmoved eye, no gods but ghosts in frozen apathy? Mycerinus is asking, is it right to give up partying for a god that doesn't exist? And I love it. He calls them austere powers, right? Capitalized. So it's gods, as if, by their not being visible to us via justice, they've sort of squandered themselves away too. They've sort of wasted their potential for actually existing. And I love the image also of what Arnold's giving up by, or Mycerinus is giving up by not existing, which is the love of free love free to range, right? That's a nice one. And of course, as a king, regal banqueting, right? Well, it's something that he could have, but he's not done it. And and why hasn't he done it? For what? For gods? Well, not for gods, but for ghosts, frozen in apathy.